Good morning. My name is Shivani. Little introduction about myself before we start and talk everything about Studienkolleg today. So I've been living in Germany since the past 5 years now, and I work with Studias. I'm a project coordinator and a project head for India. Our main focus is to kind of make our Studienkolleg as easier and better available for all the Indian students, and that's my responsibility. We're partnered with Language Pantheon, of course, and since the past year and a half, and we have been trying to take the Aufnahme test in India for all the students who wish to come for the Studienkolleg in Dresden and later study their bachelor's. Today we'll go through first, I'll talk a little bit about 2TR, what we do, and I'm also later going to let you know about the new offer that we're going to starting from summer semester, so starting from March 2024. All right, let's get into it. It's a short video about what life is like in our Studienkolleg in 2TR. Might not hear the audio, but all right. So that was just a short glimpse into it. We are located in World Trade Center in Dresden. Dresden is a city in the eastern part of Saxony, जहाँ पे more or less there's a lot of still, I mean, even if it's a big city, it's a relatively cheaper city, I would say, in comparison to Munich or Berlin, where the rents have skyrocketed. It's also a city where still you do speak German quite a bit. So all the language training that you're doing is completely going to be of use. This is just again how our institute neighborhood is looking right now, especially during Christmas time. It's all lit, full of snow, cold weather. All right. Now, what do we do in 2DRs? We have our preparatory college. We also have our international summer and spring courses. Those are short-term courses for whoever wants to come and see the life in Germany, how the German life is, at the same time also learn the language. We hold 2 to 4 week short courses where you go about not just learning the language, but also the culture. You go on excursions with a group of people who are all international. Then we also do, of course, German language training. And then we do the entire language training for TU Dresden. So we're partners with the Technical University of Dresden. And all the languages that take place, the language courses that take place over there, are all taken care, and we are responsible for those. All right. Now talking about the preparatory college. What is a preparatory college exactly? I'm sure you all have already done a little bit of your research, but I'll get into just a short introduction. Preparatory college is needed for anybody who is, as an international student, wanting to study bachelor's in Germany. Now, why do you need it? Two reasons. In Germany, until today, still 90% of the courses for bachelor degree programs are in German language. That means that you have to have the kind of German knowledge acquired before your bachelor's. Secondly, not all universities in Germany accept the 12th standard certificate or 12th standard passing that we have, the exams that we have here. So this is like a bridge course, you can call. It's a prep for you to get into your bachelor's. In your preparatory college, you have 2 semesters, so it runs for about a year, and you have 6 subjects that you learn. Now, which are these 6 subjects? We'll get into it later, but it also depends on the course that you choose. At the end of the preparatory college, you have an exam called Feststellungsprüfung, FSP. You must have heard about it. FSP is an exam that, although there are a lot of Studienkollegs in Germany, not all the FSPs for all the Studienkollegs is recognized throughout Germany. What does that mean? That not everybody has the allowance, and the exam weightage is not recognized everywhere. So what our Studienkolleg does is, we are a state recognized Studienkolleg. That means once you pass our FSP, you can apply for any private or public university for your bachelor degree program. You are not restricted to any one state or 2 states or some universities. That happens with some Studienkollegs which are private. So whenever you're applying for any Studienkolleg, please make sure you always have this information, because sometimes some students later on understand, because they've not done their research beforehand, whether the FSP exam is valid at all or not. And after the end of everything, they realize, oh, I cannot apply to the university, for example, TU Munich, maybe, that I really wanted to, but now it's not valid. That is not a problem with the FSP exam that is conducted at 2 years. All right. The specializations. We offer the T course, M course, and the W course. Depending on which course you go for, the subjects change, of course. In all the courses, you obviously learn German. And in T course, you also learn physics, maths, chemistry, and IT. In M course, you learn chemistry, physics, bio, maths, again, IT. W course is for anybody going in business and learns economics, maths, IT, and history. All right. We have been running as a preparatory college since the year 1999. And there are 2 semesters. One is the summer semester, which starts around March, mid-March, and the winter semester, which starts usually in September. The attendance in classes is usually compulsory by us. What we mean is, you have to attend 80% of the lectures. We also make it almost a compulsory thing, because it is difficult learning all these subjects in a completely different language, right? We did not grow up with German. हमें फिर भी English काफी ज़्यादा अच्छी आती है, but German हमने कभी सीखी नहीं है. So learning 5 other subjects in a completely different language in itself is a difficult task, which is why we also let our students always know that you must visit the lectures. If you don't, you cannot pass the exams, because there are exams held in between the semester, in the first semester, after the end of first semester, and then you finally have the FSP exam. All right. Internal assessment, the FSP is conducted from us but at the end. Then the classes are divided in the groups of 15 to 20 students. It's not more than that. The reason being, so that there is attention given to each one. It's not a hugely crowded class where the right kind of education is not given. There are about 150 to 170 participants or students that come each semester from many, many different countries, mainly Iran, China, India, Georgia. So you will have the opportunity to get to know a completely international bunch of group. All right. Now, what are the requirements? So each Studienkolleg may or may not have their own requirements. The reason being, depending on the state they are in, depending on whether they are recognized or not, they come with different requirements. Similarly, because we are a state recognized one, we come with a requirement from the state that is put forth. First of all, being the conditional admit letter of a college or a university in Saxony. Now, what does this mean? You have to have or you have to apply via UniAssist for a conditional admit letter into a bachelor's degree program before you start with the Studienkolleg. What this condition of this admit letter is that you complete the FSP. So you get a letter saying, we cannot give you admission right now because you need to complete the FSP. Hence, you need to visit a Studienkolleg. This itself is your letter of conditional admit, which you, once you get that, you come to us with it, you submit it. And the second thing that you need to do is pass our Aufnahme test. Now, in our Aufnahme test, what do we look for? B1 language level. We do not necessarily ask for a certificate from you of Goethe or any other test staff or anything. We test it ourselves during the Aufnahme test. And the second thing that we look for is maths. The maths test is equivalent to your 11th or 12th grade, what you're learning right now. These two are, it's a 2-hour exam, 1 hour for German, 1 hour for maths, and the German exam is again divided into 2 parts, grammar and a text production that you have to do. All right. If you, just a quick heads up, I will answer all your questions at the end of the presentation, so that just go through everything, take notes of anything that you don't know, and then you can ask me at the end of it. All right. Now, I talked about the conditional admit letter, right? How do you apply for it? Most of the applications have to be done via UniAssist. And it's very important to note, you have to apply for a university in Saxony. Which are these universities in Saxony? You can Google them, but for example, Chemnitz, Leipzig, Dresden, Mittweida, Zwickau, there's 10 to 12 big universities. Apply to any course that is similar to what you want to learn or study later on after your FSP. And you apply via UniAssist. There are a couple of universities like Zittau, which do a direct application. That means you do not have to go via the UniAssist process. You just directly go on their website and apply. All right. For that, you will have to keep in mind that there are deadlines for applications when you do it via UniAssist. So when you're applying for summer semester, you have to apply until Jan 15th. And when you're doing it for winter semester, it's until July 15th. The application process, once you've applied, it takes about 4 weeks for them to process it and then submit it to the university and for you to get your conditional admit. So please consider this time in advance. And that's why I always recommend you to apply as soon as possible so that you have the result that you need in time. All right. Each university has their little bit different application requirements. So you always have to check what the university needs and accordingly make the applications. Now, talking about TU Dresden. When you're a student of 2DRs in your preparatory college, you get the opportunity to also be matriculated as a student at TU Dresden. It is not compulsory, but it is an option that we offer you. This option is only offered because we are partnered up with TU Dresden. And with the matriculation, there are a few benefits that come with it. First being, you can have the complete access to the university library. So if you later on want to refer to books, go and study there. It's a big library in the campus. You can do so. With it also comes the enrollment. That means you also get the public transport. With the student ID, you can roam around the city free of cost. Other than that, throughout Germany, if you're a student, a registered student, you get offers or discounts on many, many things, online, offline, while ordering some tickets, anything, any programs that you're going. Usually, there's always a separate column for students. This means that with this student ID, you can always avail those offers. Otherwise, you may not. You have to pretty much pay the full price. All right. What else? Yeah, you also get the possibility to apply for the student dorms at the Studentenwerk. Studentenwerk is a setup firm, sort of, so to speak, which there are multiple Studentenwerk in each city, but they are connected to the universities of that city. With the student ID, you can then apply to all the dormitories as well. These dormitories are usually cheaper to live at, with, and they're also amongst all other students. So you kind of also get to be with the larger group of students of the university and around the campus. All right. I talked about the library. Yeah, you can also, of course, use the sports centers. There's like things like gym, sport courses. The cafeteria, yeah, again, in the university cafeteria for students, the offers are cheaper, the meals are cheaper, you get access to that. Yeah, and I talked about the discounts already. All right. Now that this was the process for how to get into the Studienkolleg, I'm going to talk about how it was happening until now and what we're trying to offer starting from summer semester. So until now, you know the requirements now. There was a conditional admit that you had to submit, as well as pass the Aufnahme test. Once you had those, you had a seat in our Studienkolleg. The good part is that we don't have a restrictive number of seats. So it's not like the public Studienkollegs where they have certain set of quotas or certain set of numbers that they can't allow more than those number of students. We allow as many as would like to come. But with the incoming problems with APS, visa applications, what the students have been facing these days is they are unable to join the semester in time because APS is taking months. Then after that, the visa process, and they kind of miss their entire semester sometimes. And we do not allow students to come after 4 weeks. If they're late for 4 weeks, then we request them to defer their admission to the next semester, because then you've already missed out on a lot of academic work and you will not be able to cope with the entire semester. When we saw all these problems happening, also with the problems with sometimes accommodation, a lot of students have take time into settling in, getting themselves accommodated. We thought of introducing the first semester as an online semester itself, which is what our attempt is going to be starting from summer, March of 2024, that we are going to offer the first semester completely online. All the subjects will be online. And this offer is currently only for T course. Why? Because most of the students that come are for T course already. And we want to see how helpful it is. If it is really helpful, and which I'm sure it will be, we will probably in the future also increase it to W and M course, but currently it's only for the T course students. In this, the best part about it is you still have to do all the process. That means you still have to go through the entire APS and visa application. You're not running out of it, but you get an extra 6 months. So you can already start your semester from home, from here in India, sitting at home. At the same time, keep on applying for your APS, your visa application, because you will need all of that by the end of the first semester, as you will have to come for the second semester to Dresden, to Germany. But that gives you an extra 6 months of completing all these applications. The summer semester in the upcoming year starts on 18th of March, and the winter semester starts on 26th. So now, if you are someone who has completed your 12th standard and are willing to do your Studienkolleg in Germany, I would recommend you to apply for this online semester. All you need in the beginning, before you start the semester, is completion of the Aufnahme test, which is why we are keeping another Aufnahme test at the end of January. The exact details or the exact dates of it, we will announce it later on. But you still have the opportunity to give another Aufnahme test for the upcoming semester by the end of Jan. If you pass it, you are allowed into the first semester. But by the end, so let's say by end of July, you will have to submit all the other documents that are required. That is the conditional admit letter. But mind you, if you come to Dresden, you have to do all of that process beforehand. You have to get everything done beforehand. But when you're doing it online, you can just start with giving the Aufnahme test, and the rest you can keep on submitting later on. This is only and only offered for the online one. All right. What are the advantages? I think I was already talking about that with the entire visa application, you get more time. It saves your academic time because, like I said, there were just 2-3 examples that we had of students in the previous semesters who had to defer 6 months of their academic year because the application process was not done on time. Here, you would not have that stress because it will get done as you're going through the semester. It saves the entire cost of living for a semester, which is huge, might I say. I mean, it's about 4,000 euros or 5, depending on the cost of living that you have. So because you will be doing it from your homes, essentially, or from India, you can reduce all that money that you would need from your expenses. And it's from the comfort of your home. It's convenient. All you need is basically your laptop and your material, and you're good to go. And the quality of education, which is very important here, will not be different. Why? Because the teachers are going to be from our institute itself. So all the teachers who are going to be teaching the subjects are our German teachers at our institute. It's the only difference is it's online and it's not in Germany with us. Now, very specific details about how the German classes will be, for example, everything will follow in the coming weeks. We will give you all the information, but if you are interested in it, I would highly recommend you to then contact somebody from Language Pantheon. They will then guide you through it. Main thing is, if you don't have the Aufnahme test done, then apply for it for end of Jan. And you still also have time until 15th of Jan to apply for a conditional admit letter. So you can also start preparing for that. If not for the 15th of Jan, for example, if you still need some time to collect all your documents, then you can also apply for the winter semester conditional letter and still start with your semester in March itself. All right, requirements, I think I spoke about it already, but like I said, Aufnahme and your 12th exams need to be completed. Rest, all the documents that I've talked about in the previous slides are still required, but until end of July. Now, next date of Aufnahme would be in Jan end, and The online semester, I'm should add this over here, will take place only if we have 15 as a number of students, because we don't want to do it just for a few students, and it does not give the proper environment of learning with a group of people, which is why it will be only held when we have a number of 15. All right. Like I said, in this, we are taking help with our partners, Language Pantheon, and they are conducting our Aufnahme test. They are also helping us with the language classes that will be held for the semester. So if you have any questions, they are always there. I'm always there to answer any of the queries regarding it. This is just a short introduction to our summer courses. If you're still not maybe sure about wanting to in the future study in Germany, and you just want to come and see how the life is like, then this is your opportunity. You can come for one of the international Dresden summer and spring courses where you learn the language, doesn't matter which level it is, and you do an intensive training with excursions with other international students. All right. And if you would like to get in touch with me, then this is my information. I'm always available by email, or that's my German number. But I guess us pe charges lagte, so you can always contact me via email. That's easiest. Or you can also simply write to us on our 2Dias emails. We're happy to help you. And that's about it. Now, I would really like to know all the questions that you may have regarding anything that I just said, or anything regarding your bachelor's journey, and I'll try to answer it at best as I can. We also have audience from our YouTube live, and I would love to know their questions. I would love to know if there's anything. Surbi ma'am will let me know if there are any questions from the members on YouTube. Yeah? Thanks. Minimum level of B1. You have to have B1. What I mean is you at least have to have the knowledge of B1. We're not asking you to submit any kind of Goethe certificate or anything. We are ourselves testing it, but make sure you have the knowledge of B1. Yes. The medical students also have to give the maths test. Yeah, but we still test it. It's just a rule that we have for even medical students. 10th. 10th to 11th. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. B1. B1. Yeah. Because we test your B1 level in the. Okay. Then if you feel like you're ready with the knowledge, then yeah, you can give the Aufnahme test. B1 is what will be judged for.
This Jan and exam is for summer intake?
Yes, it's for summer intake. So it's taken for the semester that starts mid of March. But that also means that then you will have to do the online course, because it gives you very less time to apply for the visa. You will not be able to make all the applications, get it done before March, and be able to come to Dresden. We'll be happy to have you in Dresden if that is possible. If you have done everything else, if your conditional is there and you still want to come to Dresden, great. But giving the exam Jan end, I highly doubt that would be possible for you, which is still fine. You can always start with it, because the second semester will be held in Dresden itself. Yeah.
University for a specific course. So in that case, after Studienkolleg, am I limited to that university? and that
No. That just plays as a safety for you. Call it like a safety offer that you have. That if after your FSP, of course, you're allowed to apply to any university. You can apply to 10 other courses. But if you, let's say, don't get into any of those 10 courses, you still had that conditional admit from that university. So you can always go to it.
In the FSP to fulfill that condition, the conditions they've
Sorry?
imposed on us. Like they've given you a conditional admit, so it has to have some conditions, right? Like you have to.
So, the conditional admit usually comes with the condition that you need to complete your FSP. That's
What
the
does
condition.
like completing mean?
Passing the FSP
Okay, and,
exam.
like what does that mean in
So the
percentages?
6 subjects that you're going to
Yeah.
be attending in the Studienkolleg, you have to pass all the 6 subjects. FSP exam is basically a final exam, so to speak. So all the 6 subjects are tested at the end of the 2 semesters. Once you pass them, you get your FSP.
Okay.
Yeah.
For applying for bachelor's to get a conditional letter.
To get the conditional letter, usually you'll have to have your 12th certificate. They might ask you for up until B1 certificate, may or may not. FSP is of course required, but it all changes from uni to uni. So what you can do is go on these universities, check what their general requirements are. Sometimes they still give you this conditional admit even if you may or may not have 1 or 2. So let's say even if you don't have a B1 level certificate, if they are asking for an FSP certificate, that itself anyway means that you will have C1 later on. So if they're asking for FSP, they may not ask for this language certificate because you are going to learn this language during your Studienkolleg up until C1. So you'll have to look in each university's requirements for that.
FSP.
For the FSP,
Yes.
I think I'll check it and let you know, but I think it's about 60% for each subject. This is just a standard in Germany in itself that for any exams, for most subjects, 60%. Anybody else? Say it again. First year, yeah. So if you've completed your first year, it can become very different for you. What you can try to do is with your first year exam certificate of the university that you applied to, check with the university. Now, for example, let's take Chemnitz. Check with the university, let them know that you've done the first year of exam. If they accept it, then you may be told that, okay, you may not need FSP. But if they don't accept it, then you will still have to go through this entire process that I talked about. Sometimes what they might give you a leeway is that they will still just ask you to submit a C1 certificate, not the FSP, because FSP takes all the 6 subjects or the 5 subjects that you're learning. A C1 certificate would be just for your German language because you've done 1 year of a university already. So it depends. So for the first semester, it's 3,500, and for the second semester, it's 3,800. Yeah, anything else? No, there is no cutoff for your 12th board percentage. As long as you submit a certificate, it's okay. I guess the main important thing is passing the Aufnahme test, which for German, you have to have about 65%. That's the passing rate. And for maths, it's 50%. So passing that and having the conditional admit. Yes, correct. They take your 12th, your FSP score as well. When you're applying for your bachelor's, your FSP score is going to be more important than your 12th standard score. So you'll have to make sure that you're, I guess, scoring good in your FSP eventually. And that will give you, I guess, a place in any of the courses that you want to go in. But with this conditional admit that you come with, like I mentioned, it just works as a low risk environment for you because that university a year before has already let you know that if you just submit an FSP, we are offering you a place. So that always works in your benefit, even though this is just because this requirement is not by all student colleagues. Not all student colleagues ask for a preconditional admit. We ask for it for a couple of reasons because our FSP has a weight of being recognized throughout Germany. That is why it comes with this condition, an extra one. Sorry? They're very in sync with the German level. So the FSP exam, and that's the reason the entire year you will learn how the German students have learned. So it will be in sync with theirs. That would also mean that sometimes the way the exam is taken, it might be that there are some kinds of orals involved in it. Might be a little bit different in the sense of how the exam paper pattern is. But all of that, you don't have to worry right now. I think right now, the first step would be to get into a Studienkolleg, right? And after that, in the Studienkolleg, you will be trained for the FSP. So you will get all the information or all the training that you need to pass these exams at the time. So don't worry about that. All right, anybody else? Sorry? Fees for Aufnahme, you can talk with Surbi ma'am, but it was 7,500, I believe. Yeah, 7,000.
Pay installment or pay installment, right?
The Aufnahme.
Of installment.
But the installments that she was talking about, yes, you can pay the fees for the Studienkolleg in installments. But I would recommend, at least for the first semester, not to do so. What we have noticed is that the visa officers still ask you to pay at least the first semester ones. So to not get into that hassle of talking to the visa people, although we accept it, I would recommend at least pay the first semester fees, and then the second semester you can pay in your installments, whatever installments that you want, because makes your visa process life easier. All right. Anybody else? Sorry? For the online course? Yes. You can, okay, you can start the online course without the conditional letter, but you will have to submit the conditional letter by the end of the semester. So you can start with it, but make sure you submit it in by end of July. So if you're confident that, yeah, you are going to get, and yes, most likely everybody does get a conditional admit. If you're confident enough, then just start with it and do the process and you'll get it and you can submit it later on. That's fine. But important is you submit everything before your second semester starts. And at the end of the first semester, there's also an exam that you have to give. So before that exam, make sure to submit everything because then it's all done in Dresden and you have to come there for your rest of the studies. Anybody else? No? Yeah.
ये आपके लिए ही हो रहा है सेमिनार, so please.
Yeah, you can definitely take it offline in Germany. We are not restricting you to the online one. My recommendation, if you wanted to do the summer semester, like if you want to start with March, 2 महीने में सब पूरा application नहीं हो पाएगा आपका. इसीलिए I recommended that you start with the online course then and do the second semester. But if you want to wait and you want to start with the winter semester, yeah, you can come to Dresden and do it over there. Yes, yes. If it's offline, then you have to complete all the documentation because you have to be there, right? So you need the visa. Sorry?
Fee structure for the student.
Fee structure is same for offline and online. Yeah, it's the same. Like I said, 3,500 for the first semester, 3,800 for the second semester. 3,500 euros for the first semester and 3,800 euros for the second semester. Fee for the Aufnahme is 75 euros. 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 Yeah? Yeah, yeah. नहीं नहीं ऐसे कोई नहीं होता अभी ये बस एज अ कंडीशन सिर्फ मान लो कि एक कंडीशन है इसीलिए आप किसी सिमिलर कोर्स के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हो आप एफएसपी होने के बाद जो कोर्स आपकी मर्जी आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं वो डिफिकल्ट होगा क्योंकि एफएसपी में आपने जो डिसाइड किया है फॉर एग्जांपल टी कोर्स लिया तो उसी के सब्जेक्ट्स होंगे ना तो आपको उसी के सब्जेक्ट्स के अराउंड अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा वो नहीं हो सकता हाँ mode of instruction is in German because you're preparing for mode of German taught courses, right? That's why you have to come with B1 level because with B1 level you have a little bit of understanding of the language, understanding of क्या पढ़ा जा रहा है and when you're training in the 2 semesters then you build up to C1 so by the end of it you will be well versed with it and well trained. Yeah. Yeah. Your FSP score is important for your bachelor courses. Yes, but also definitely your FSP score. Like they will definitely. I mean, some universities also keep a bit more weightage to your FSP score. So make sure you do well in those marks. But there are, I mean, each university has their own cutoff. So some might have lower, some might have higher, depends. But if you want to go to the TUs like TU Munich, TU Dresden, they might have a little higher cutoff. That's why then do well in your FSP so you have a better chance. Yeah? Anything else? I think we're good to go. अच्छा okay. We have a few questions online. Arohi is asking, do we only have T and M course? No, we also have W course, but the G course is not offered in Rias. For the Aufnahme preparation, either you can do it by yourself, self-taught, or I am aware that Language Pantheon also offers Aufnahme training. You can approach them for your training for the Aufnahme test. Yeah? Say it again louder a little. Yeah. Yeah, the 300 euro. But that is optional. मतलब आपको अगर नहीं चाहिए वो student ID तो आपने नहीं apply किया that is also fine. It's just an offer. It's up to you. तो ये semester contribution नहीं होगा for the first semester, then definitely not because you're not in Dresden. That semester contribution makes sense only when you are in Dresden and you want to use all of these things, then it helps. Yes, it's completely recognized in all public, private, all universities in Germany. Is Studia state owned? Yes, it is state recognized, but it is also a private entity. Again, like I mentioned, someone's asking, is it compulsory to give the online semester? It's not compulsory. You can, of course, come to Dresden and do it offline. It's just an offer that we are giving because of the problems that we are seeing with APS and visa issues. We're offering it, and also it reduces a student's living expenses. So it's just an offer. No. If you do it, if you select an online semester for the first one, you have to complete it online. You can't switch it in between. So you have to let us know beforehand whether you're doing it offline or online, because we also have to then prepare the classes that way. Because the teachers are going to be sitting in Germany and students will be, for example, in India. So we have to also look for the time zones and prepare timetables like that. So it can't be changed last minute. Okay. I think I've answered pretty much all the questions. Yeah, over here. All right, then. Thank you very much for having me today. Thank you, Surbhi, for letting me do this. And I hope to see some of you maybe in Dresden, maybe online at some point. If you have any questions, you can always contact me. I'm always there.
Thanks a lot.
All right, and good luck with whatever you choose to do.